So like you might need to like loosen up those ponytails. Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I'm Sha'de, and today I got a question for you. What's shedding and what's breakage? That's what we're gonna find out today. So let's get started. What is shedding? Okay, shedding and breakage are two different things. Shedding is natural. Shedding is what's supposed to happen with your hair, because your hair has a life cycle. So it's dying. That's what it is. That's what it's doing. Shedding is when the hair strand, the complete hair strand, has died and it's fell from your head. And you know it's shedding when it's a complete hair strand and there's a white bulb at the top of it. That's when you know it's shedding. It's completely healthy for your hair to shed. So there's really not much for you to be concerned about. So since shedding is natural, it's a natural process that's happening, you can't really stop it. There's really nothing you can do to stop shedding because it happens inside your scalp. It's like you can't do that. You can't put like a treatment or anything like that to like stop the shedding. A healthy head of hair sheds about between 50 to 100 strands daily, you know. So for natural hair, curly kinky hair, you don't really see all that shedding. You don't really see all that shedding, all the daily shedding, because the hair strands are being caught in your curls. So when you detangle once a week, or wash your hair once a week and you're detangling, or you're doing a twist out or a braid out once a week or something like that, anything that involves brushing out your hair, rehydrating it, tangling it, or detangling it, that's when you're seeing all the fallout. You're catching all the shedding. So you might see a little bit more. Don't be alarmed. That's because that's a week worth of shedding that you're seeing. So there are conditions where shedding can increase, and those include pregnancies, birth control, menopause, your period. It can be hereditary, so it can run in the family of that you have like more shedding than another person. So you could have less proteins in your diet. You can have low proteins in your diet, or you can have like a poor diet where there's less proteins. That means that's less proteins for your hair to grow with. There's also styles, or styling your hair with too much tension on your hair follicles. So those tight ponytails y'all be rocking because they look cute, you might want to loosen them up a little bit, because your hair follicles, they don't need all that stress. Okay, now breakage. What is breakage? Breakage is not natural whatsoever. That's not supposed to happen like that. Breakage is shorter hair and there's no white bulb at the top at all, because it's just being ripped off from the hair strand. There's different lengths. If you're brushing your hair and you see hair falling out, if you see like one or two long pieces with a white bulb at the top, that's shedding. If you see like tiny little other pieces, different kind of lengths, no white bulb, jagged edges or something like that, that's breakage, and that's not really good. And let me preface all that I'm about to say with this. Breakage cannot be fully prevented either, but it can be minimized, and that's what we want to do. So we can, you know, encourage hair growth for our hair and everything. Breakage is a sign of too much manipulation, too much stress going on with the hair. And breakage typically occurs at the oldest part of your hair, your ends, because your ends are the most fragile. The ends are exposed to so many things every day, like sun exposure, brushing your hair, fabrics, you know, all that. So of course the ends of your hair is going to be more prone to breakage and split ends and stuff like that. So there are some causes of breakage, and that includes like too much handling of your hair, like doing too much with your hair, too much like, you know, combing your fingers through your hair too much throughout the day, always touching your hair, you know, fluffing up your fro too often throughout the day, too much brushing, combing, you're detangling too hard, too rough, you're just yanking the brush through, you're not starting at the ends and brushing them, making sure you're detangling with damp hair, because if you detangle with dry hair, you're like causing too much friction and stress with the brush and the dry hair. So if you detangle with damp hair, you're starting at the ends, gently brushing through to get all the knots out, and then go all the way to the top. That can like help prevent as much breakage as possible. I said this in my previous video, but I'm gonna say it again because it is important. Another reason for breakage is lack of hydration and moisturization. If your hair is too dry, there's no elasticity. It can't move, it can't bounce back, it can't move fluidly because there's no water in your hair. And water moves fluently, you know? So if your hair can't move fluently, all that stress, it's gonna break, you know? So you need to make sure that you're properly hydrating your hair with water-based products. You're washing your hair to give it the ultimate hydration, because water is the ultimate hydration. You're either washing your hair or you're spraying it with water itself. And then you're using a leave-in conditioner that is water-based, maybe has a humectant in there, to attract more water. And then you're sealing that in with a moisturizer and oil, butter, cream, twist out cream, whatever, to seal that moisture in and to slow the water evaporation, you know? So if you make sure that you're doing that properly, then you can minimize some breakage. Also, another thing that causes breakage is too many protein treatments. Protein is really good for your hair. It helps strengthen your hair and it helps improve growth, encourage hair growth. But if you use too many protein treatments too often, your hair can get brittle because there's too much protein going into the hair strands, into the hair follicles. You can use deep conditioners that focus on hydrating your hair, giving your hair all that water that it needs. So if that deep conditioner is water-based, that's good, and it needs to stay in about 20-30 minutes. That's like the best time for it to like fully penetrate your hair. You can use heat on it, like put your hair in a plastic bag, use heat like a blow dryer on it for a little bit, or sit under a blow dryer. That can help your hair fully hydrate, and that can help your hair minimize breakage. Also, trims. You can trim your hair like as often as you need, based on how your ends of your hair are looking. If the ends of your hair have a lot of split ends, then it needs to be trimmed, because then the split ends can travel up and then the whole shaft can be split, and that's not what we want. You know, we don't really want that. So yeah, that's the differences between shedding and breakage. Shedding is pretty healthy. It's a pretty healthy thing, nothing to be too concerned about, unless you think there's excessive shedding, too much shedding happening for you, or there's a condition that is causing more shedding. Then you might want to consult a doctor. Other than that, it's pretty healthy. You can't really prevent it, can really minimize it. It's just what's happening, and it's the life cycle of the hair strands. Breakage, on the other hand, you can minimize. It's not what we want. It's unnatural, and it's just a sign of what your hair needs. So all in all, like I keep saying, you have to listen to your hair. You have to pay attention to your hair and how it acts. So once you are able to identify these things, identify shedding and breakage, and realize how much shedding and how much breakage, really how much breakage is happening, then you can try to figure out, like, what does my hair need? Like, is it too dry? Is it too many protein treatments? Am I, you know, being too rough with my hair? Am I brushing it too rough? If I'm detangling dry, or tight hairstyle that's causing too much friction, too much tension. You know, if you can identify these things and you can fix those things ASAP, then you can really minimize breakage, and then you can continue growing your hair, continue encouraging hair growth. But that's all I have for today. Thank you for watching this video. If you'd like to see more videos, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification button so you know when the next video is coming out. You can also follow me on Instagram, which is also down below. And I'll see you next time.